Not quite yet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I am the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. Last month, we had Rashid Kuskaya speak about opportunities in Turkey, and it was such an excellent program. It covered such an important market segment for all of us to be considering that we invited him back for a part two to dig deeper into some of the things that we should all be aware of that are in Turkey. Rashid Kuskaya has 27 plus years of hands-on experience in multinational activities in business. His own organization, Turnkey B2B, is a multi-country activity that's focused in on opportunities in Turkey. And every week, more than 200 times, he's gotten together with groups of business leaders in Turkey to help them be more successful, and particularly finding foreign markets. And so as he's been building Turnkey over these decades, he's been successful. And you'll see from his knowledge and his experience that he's not only deeply connected, but he is an amazing connector as well. And so today we're going to be doing this deep dive into some of these opportunities, and hopefully you'll be able to find out more about what's available in Turkey, and he'll be available for Q&A in the program as well. So I believe you have a presentation. Maybe you could go through that. Are you open to Q&A during the presentation, or would you like to wait to the end? What's your preference?
Yeah, they can interrupt me if they have questions, but I prefer to finish the presentation first.
Okay.
And then receive the questions. Can I screen share? Do I have authority for this?
You may. About how long is the presentation?
I will wrap it up. Do you want me to wrap it up in 30 minutes, right?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
All right. All right. Thank you, Doug, for the recognition and intro. Can you hear me?
Well, I can. One thing that I didn't really relate is that more than just like some random person who's amazing in his own country, there is a relationship between Global Chamber and Rashid, and Global Chamber and Turnkey. Rashid is a very important, and we have an agreement where there's an alignment between Rashid and Global Chamber, and so we help and support each other that way. We also strongly believe in what Turnkey, the philosophy of Turnkey, and the alignment of his organization with Global Chamber. So thank you for that alignment and the collaboration, and in addition to all the other things that you'll be sharing today. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. I am honored. We know each other for several years. People like you and me called super connectors. Our mind is always busy with linking people and creating value. And this is a gift that God has given to us, and I'm trying to use it in the best possible way to serve my country, moreover to serve humanity, and be useful for the community. And I would like to add two things. Out of these hybrid 202 events, we have business partners in 40 plus countries, and we are reaching nearly 100 plus Turkish suppliers from product, service industry, and contract business. Contract business includes both of them: engineering, procurement, logistic, and installation. That's why we named the group Turnkey. When you silence the N, Turkey remains, meaning we can find a solution for your contract, for your project, your demand, product demand, service demand within Türkiye. Most of you know, maybe some of you doesn't know, the name of the country has been changed because it sounds like the poultry Turkey in English. Now it is, as we say, Turkish people say, Türkiye is the original one and international one. Out of all these meetings, we have accomplished $11 million recorded internal turnover. This is the amount of business we gave to each other, the business leads. These are real projects. The numbers are not inflated. The projects are listed. We do it every week. I made a calculation, Doug. I divided $11 million to 250 networking event, and I come up with the result. Average turnover for each B2B is $50,000. So we are creating $50,000 turnover with every B2B. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Anyone would like to join our network, please contact with me. Anything you need from Türkiye, I am your hands, your brother here, you can rely. I am at your disposal. So I will use the presidential office, investment finance office, reporting presidency of Türkiye. This is their presentation, it's official presentation. I will start with 10 reasons to invest in Türkiye. Why? The first is robust economy, domestic accessible markets, strategic location, favorable demographics, skilled competitive workforce, continuous reform process, business friendliness, lucrative incentives, benign R&D ecosystem, sectoral opportunities. I will explain them one by one. Why Türkiye has a robust economy? As you see from the left graphic, according to IMF records, purchasing power parity, Türkiye used to be number 18 20 years ago. Now we are ranking number 12. Türkiye is supposed to have over 100 million population, and to be in the top 10 economy by 2050. So the average income is supposed to be expected to be $100,000 per person. So there are only a few countries with population more than 100 million, and the average income is so high. For example, USA, Germany, and we don't see too much other examples. Maybe we can add Korea and Japan. Doug, do you remember any other country that has population over 100 million and average income more than $50,000?
France is too small?
Yeah, this was the question asked by Finance Minister, Mr. Mehmet Şimşek. He is doing a great job. He studied in UK. He was a top-level CEO. He raised this question in one of the Invest in Türkiye meetings. He was presenting to Saudis, actually. He said there are only a few countries, like less than 10, that has population over 100 million and income distribution is stable, like fair. Not there is a big gap between rich and poor, like Russia. For example, in Russia, there is oligarchs, and maybe average income per person is around $20,000, but the country is very rich. Like these countries, USA, Germany, South Korea, and Japan.
Yeah.
And this is a advanced country league. So Turkey will be in Champions League very soon. Average annual growth is, as you can see from the graphic in the middle, Turkey is ranking. Turkey's average in the last 20 years is 5.3. So it is way over OECD average and European Union average. So if we check here, real GDP growth of Turkey, as you see, it's performing much better than some East European countries. I think this presentation is prepared for those who are considering the Turkey for investment and also East European countries. The presentation is looking from this angle and comparing Turkey mostly with East European countries. So as you see, robust economy, Turkey has very small debt in comparison to GDP. It is like 30%. Turkey's GDP is around $1.3 trillion. $1.3 trillion. So Turkey is in the over $1 trillion league. But in comparison to European Union, America is, I think America is the worst case. Doug, do you know that your debt stock comparison to GDP is something like 300? Do you know?
I don't know, but that's good to know.
Even the American President Trump said that we can close this if we change the tariffs, if we take care of the trade deficit, and he's trying to bring back the manufacturing back to America. But your debt to bankers, funds, etc., the American government's debt is like a 3-year GDP, equal to 3-year GDP. Do you know about what is the GDP of America per year?
It's big, isn't it?
It is, I think, as far as I know, it is something between 30, 35 trillion. So China is slightly bigger than you now by economic standpoint. I think China is heading to 40 trillion. So it means your debt is 3 times of your annual GDP. It's like more than $100 trillion you owe to international funds and bankers. So this is a big risk for America and for the future of US dollar. Maastricht criteria. What is Maastricht criteria? Criteria of European Union. It has to be 60%, like half of the GDP. For example, Turkey, if $1 trillion economy, the GDP, the debt is $600 billion is normal. But European Union is also exceeding 27%. It means the European Union average is approaching to 100, like they have debt closer to 1 year GDP. So this is acceptable levels, manageable level. Budget balance and GDP. Turkey, as some of you know, maybe most of you know, went through a devastating earthquake in 23. 10 major cities, over 1 million population, totally destroyed. So we lost 200,000 people. Unfortunately, we are not very well prepared like Japan for the earthquake. We should make our buildings stronger, maybe with steel construction, or we shouldn't do the buildings city planning carefully. We should do and stay away from the quake zones. That's why Turkey has budget balance a little bit diverted, but still under European Union -3 standard. So -3, what does it mean? If you have $1 trillion economy, the budget diversion deficit can be up to 3%, like 30 billion. The calculation is right. Doug, do you confirm?
I'm not sure, but I think all of this plays into a couple different important concepts. One is the stability of Turkey continues to be strong.
Yes.
Sorry.
If you have, considering your GDP, let's say $1 trillion economy, your budget deficit cannot be more than 3%. This is the Maastricht criteria, European Union criteria. So Turkey is still within acceptable limits. We lost the budget discipline after the earthquake because the government is spending too much money to recover, to rebuild the cities. Turkish government take initiative and giving every family a new house. They have lost their house in the earthquake. So that's why this was a big burden on the economy. And now we are like 6%. We have deficit. But it's still under control, and it will be much better in the coming years. So Turkish economy, as I mentioned before, when Erdogan came to power, it was slightly over $200 billion. Now it is $1.3 trillion. It is quintupled over 22 years. There is not much success stories like this, maybe a few developing countries. Contribution to GDP growth in the last 20 years, mostly coming from domestic consumption, investment, exports, and imports is going down. This is good news for us because we have a trade deficit. We have around 300 billion export, and we import 400 billion. So there is 100 billion gap coming from energy. We have to discover new oil wells and natural gas. Turkey is working hard on this. We discovered gas in Black Sea. Now, quarter of the houses using domestic natural gas, but we still depending on energy import, natural gas imports from Russia, and oil from Middle East. And Turkey is also producer of big renewable energy. 60% of energy comes from renewables such as sun, wind, and hydro. And our nuclear power plant will be operating effective next year. So we didn't have nuclear power plant so far. It will bring us another leverage. So income per capita, buying power of Turkish people according to purchasing power, jumped from 10,000 to 40. It is 4 times increased in the last 22 years. Stock of automobiles, the number of cars per person from 5 to 16. Aviation passengers from 34 million to 230 million. Maybe some of you doesn't know, Turkish airline, geostrategical location. Turkey has geostrategical location. We are at the intersection of all continents. Turkish Airlines is the airline flying the most destinations in the world. So Istanbul Airport is the busiest airport in Europe, and Turkish Airlines is in the top 5 among all the other airlines. I think the number 1 is Delta America. So we are heading to top 3. Population, as you see, how Turkey is a great market. We have 24 metropolitan cities. That means global chambers can open 24 chapters in Turkey. People mostly know only about Istanbul, capital of 3 empires. Napoleon said if there was only one state in the world, Istanbul to be the capital, because it is at the intersection of all the continents. Amazing city. Doug, I am waiting for your visit. I will personally give you a city tour, okay?
Thank you.
We have history, we have food, we have friendly people, we have all these cultural mix, and you will find everything in Istanbul. It is that one of those cities that has a character, that has a soul, and it's been capital for so many centuries. You will see all these remainings of ex-empires and museums, etc. Will be amazing trip. The capital is Ankara. So unfortunately, I think this is the case for America. Doug, if you comment, I would appreciate. The birth rate is down to 1.5%. It means every family is making 1.5 child. So it means Turkish population is going down. But there is immigration. There is from Syria, for example, we still hosting nearly 4 million Syrians. There is people from Afghanistan, Iran, other African countries, North African countries. So we have immigration. With immigration, Turkey is supposed to exceed 100 million population by 2050. Maybe the government is considering to give incentives to families to make more children, such as long-term mortgages or financial support for the kids. Domestic accessible market. So we have like 90 million domestic market, but we have free access to 1 billion consumers. We have agreement, free trade agreement with EU. We have free trade agreement with 30 countries around the globe. So altogether is 1 billion consumers. So if you invest in Turkey, you can sell your products without taxes and tariffs to more than 1 billion consumers from nearly 60 countries, when you consider Turkey, EU, and free trade area. Strategic location we have. working hours intersect with 16 time zones. That's why we moved our Saturday morning meetings to 6 p.m. so that Americans and Asian people can join. Americans, it will be morning for America and evening for Asian people. Proximity to major markets. 1.3 billion people, $10 trillion import, 32 trillion GDP in Europe, MENA, Central Asia, 4-hour distance. Turkish Airlines is at the moment flying nearly 400 destinations in 131 countries. By these figures, Turkish Airlines is #1 in the world by the number of destinations it flies. Manufacturing export hub for multinationals, as well as management, logistic, procurement, training hub for multinationals. These are some of the brands, global brands. Now there is a big Chinese investment invasion is coming, like mobile companies, technology companies, electrical vehicle, BYD. They are all lining up to make manufacture in Turkey because they can sell to Europe without taxes. There is a tariff increase, not only from America, also against China from European side. So they prefer Turkey as an investment point because we have the cheapest, one of the cheapest labor cost in comparison to Europe. Turkey is unfortunately on the bottom. So we still have very affordable minimum wages for international investors. Merchandise by geography. As you see, by 2024, as of last year, 43% of our trade with European Union, 22% with MENA, 7% North America. We have to work on it. I rely on you, Doug, to increase these numbers. Huh? Trump is also helping us applying higher tariffs for China. It will bring us a lot of opportunities, I think. They decided to lower from 150 to 30% for 90 days. I think that normalized stock market and supply chains, relieved supply chains for a while, 90 days. But there will be a difference in favor of America against China. I think it will be now at the moment 30 to 10. Let's say if it goes that way, Turkey has 10%. So we have 20% advantage over China. Number of export products over 1 billion figure, 53. So Turkey is very well advanced in all the industries. We are not oil dependent country like Iran or Saudi Arabia. Also, we are moving from cheap labor cost industries such as textile. Textile factories are now moving to Egypt for cheaper labor. Doug, how is my face on the camera? I don't see my face. You see my face?
We don't. Your camera's not on.
My camera is not on? Okay, I will open it. Sorry.
Now we see.
From my side, it is on. Maybe it's about the settings. Okay, I will continue the presentation.
That's what it is. When you put your presentation on, it goes to just a
Yeah,
page.
there is a setting. Maybe you should work on it. The speaker's face is on the right corner, but I don't see my face. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Export goods of Turkey to the world. Now, our slice is 1.5%. It's not too much. We have a long way to go. Annual average growth of Turkish export, 10%. World is 6%, so we are a little bit ahead of the world. Favorable demographics, despite the aging population and lower birth rates, we still have, our population is, as you see, around 30s. Average is around 30s, 34. In Europe, you see it's like over 50s. It's aging population, the same for America. Sorry to say that, Doug, but you're aging. Working age population increasing in Turkey and decreasing in Europe. That's why international investors, they come to Turkey for younger population. It means it is favorable consumers. In Africa, it is less than 20. So it's way better than Turkey. Dependency rate. This is like the ratio of working class and the retirees and non-working class. Turkey has a balance now, but Europe is losing balance. As you see, this means less people join the workforce and more burden for the non-workers and retirees on the government. It's not sustainable. They have to take immigrants or motivate people to make children. Skilled and competitive labor force. Annual number of graduates. As you see, university graduates, nearly 1 million as of last year. Qualified engineers, number of qualified engineers, higher than East Europe. Senior managers in the middle. Labor force by education level. University 30%, 70% high school. We have very, very low minimum illiteracy rate. Cost of living index. Turkey is still much better in comparison to America. New York is the standard here, 100. Turkey is around 37. It means it's 3 times, living cost 3 times cheaper than New York, living in Istanbul. Reforms. Turkey is a reforming country, made reforms, major reforms in every 2 years. I will share the presentation. You can see details of these reforms. International investment friendly and ease of investment. Number of days to set up a company, Turkey down from 38 days to 7 days. In the last 22 years, came down from nearly 40 days to 1 week. Ease of doing business ranking, Turkey is still getting higher and higher rating. At the moment, number 33, way better than some East European countries. Ease of doing business ranking. business friendliness, protection of international investors by FDI law, bilateral investment protection treaties with 90 countries, treaties to avoid double taxation with over 90 countries, international tax competitiveness. How high is Turkey's income tax? As we see from the graphics, Hungary has less tax. Turkey is like 25%, but much better than USA and other developed countries like Korea, Japan, and West European countries. So you pay less taxes in Turkey. Lucrative incentives, manufacturing incentives, incentives for service exporters, employment incentives, technology development zones, R&D innovation incentives, exclusive zones. Doug, we have more than, maybe engineer Osman can help me, how many industrial zones we have in Turkey. Turkey is very developed in this aspect. We are also teaching developing countries how to make industrial zones.
I'm not sure, but almost 200 different industrial zones.
Can you please ask ChatGPT how many industrial zones in Turkey?
Of course.
Please. As far as I know, it is much more than 1,000. Turkey, a number of researchers. Turkey has higher score than some East European countries. We are hosting over 700 international companies, increasing R&D spendings. Turkey approaching 45 billion in the recent years. I think this number is now approaching $100 billion as of 25, because the figure is old as of 22. We have so many R&D centers as well, like Silicon Valley of America. We have high technology centers in many cities now. Selected international companies, all the big brands, automobile makers, textile, retailers, technology companies, oil and gas, car manufacturers, pharmaceuticals, logistics, FMCG. They all have investments in Turkey. Sectoral opportunities, automobile. Turkey is 12th largest manufacturer and number 4 in Europe. Every year, we produce nearly 1.5 million vehicles, including trucks and buses. Export, around 40 billion. Machinery, electrical equipment. Turkey is in the top 10. Largest TV and white goods producer in Europe. We have famous brands like Vestel, Arçelik, Beko. Exporting 70% of production, revenue 80 billion. Exporting nearly 30 billion. Aerospace and defense. Defense spending as of 25 was $45 billion, increased a lot due to conditions around Turkey, ongoing wars between Palestine, Israel, Ukraine, Russia, and now there's a high tension between Pakistan and India. Unfortunately, we don't live in the quiet region, peaceful region. Middle East is always like this. There's always ongoing wars, unfortunately, mostly related with natural resources and Zionist agenda. Aerospace defense. Air passengers, 230 million. Exporting 7 billion defense products. This number is increasing, approaching 10 billion. Turkey is dominating now unmanned aeroplanes, drones, we can say, armed and non-armed. Turkey is dominating this market and changing the code of the warfare. Like our drones are used in Libya, Syria, and at the war between Azerbaijan, Armenia, and in the conflict between Pakistan and India. So they are successful and it diminish pilot loss, of course. Now Turkey has built aircraft carrier instead of aircraft carrier, a big vessel carrying armed drones. This is also Turkey is the first country who come up with this solution. We don't have big aircraft carriers like American aircraft carriers. America is number one. They have around 20. Turkey has one, and another one is under construction for the jets. But Turkey made the first drone carrier in the sea. So it increased operational capacity. Now we have military bases in 8 countries, as far as Somalia, Qatar, Libya, Sudan, etc.
Amazing.
With the agreement with these local countries, of course, such as Somalia, Turkey is not only helping with poverty in Somalia. We are training their army against terrorism, to fight with terrorism, agricultural projects, ports, securing the ports and vessel transfer so that they can use the Red Sea without pirating. Turkey has a duty on NATO, number 2 army after America in NATO. We are patrolling, our destroyers are patrolling and providing security in the Red Sea area, and Turkish TPO discovered oil in the offshore of Somalia recently. This is very good news for Somalian people. Energy, 6th largest electricity market in Europe, 115 GW. There is nuclear power plant coming. It will add another 10 gigawatt. 60% from renewable energy. This rate is better than Europe through hydro, wind, and solar. China is number 1 in renewable energy manufacturing. Geothermal energy, since Turkey is
Rashid.
Yes.
Rashid, just as a time check. We have about 10 minutes left, and so we may not have much time for Q&A. The information you've got here is amazing, and it's very comprehensive. What would you like to do in the final 10 minutes?
I will wrap it up in 3 minutes and then answer the questions.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Agro-food. I was saying that we have geothermal energy. Where there is earthquake, there is hot water. Hot water comes to the surface, like Japan. We have a lot of thermal hotels. You stay there and you enjoy thermal hot tubs, natural hot tubs. It's good for skin and health. arterites, and retired people of Europe prefer Turkey's geothermal facilities. Agro-food, number 9 manufacturer in the world, number 1 in Europe, and exporting around 30 billion, nearly 200 countries. Infrastructure. Turkey has accomplished over 200 billion worth of PPP projects in the last 50 years. Turkey is number 1 in PPP. For those who doesn't know what does PPP means, public-private partnership. So the government doesn't invest from the budget. Private sector puts in the money investment. It's like BOT, build, operate, and transfer. They operate the bridge or highway or hospital, airport for 10 years, 20 years, and then hand it over to the government. We are teaching developing countries about PPP. Turkey is organizing PPP events to all the high-level ministers, presidents sometimes from developing countries attending these webinars. Telecom, market size 33 billion, export over 2 billion. Technology startup investment over 4 billion in the last 20 years. I'm gonna speed up a little bit. Foreign direct investment. From 2013 to when Erdogan came to power, as of today, we received, when we consider this year's investments from China, BYD, etc., BYD, it's approaching 300 billion. In which industries, in which countries the investment is coming from? Mostly, as you see, 70% from Europe. North America, only 8. We need more investors from America. Asia's figures are increasing because China is coming. Gulf, Emiratis, Saudis, Qataris, they are investing heavily in the recent years. Number of international companies in Turkey increased. It was like 6 in 2002, now is 84. Most attractive sectors: finance, manufacturing, energy, FMCG, retail trade, IT, telecommunication, logistics, construction. Turkey, Doug, can you please note, I want to give another webinar on construction leadership position of Turkey, Turkish contractors. We are number 2 after China in the ENR top engineering list, 250 list. We have nearly 70 Turkish construction giants, contractors. They can realize any project anywhere in the world, such as Tekfen, Limak, Summa, Yapı Merkezi, airports, bridges, railways, metros. They can realize all. You name it, we make it. So, private sector approaches with public sector capabilities. Turkey is very good at PPP, as I explained. What government agency, presidential agency, investment agency provides? Acting as a solution partner, customized consulting, coordination with stakeholders, business facilitation, site selection support, tailor-made delegation visit, project launch, partnership development assistance, ongoing support. Once Mr. Erdogan said, if I had the money, if I was a billionaire like Elon Musk, I would definitely choose Turkey for investment. Not because he's the president, but the future of Turkey is bright. And they always say, our politicians always say, if you collaborate with Turkey. If you work with Turkey, you never lose. You will grow with Turkey. That's all from my side. I can receive your questions.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. What questions do we have? Feel free to either raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask questions. I will say, as I was reviewing some of the online information, particularly from the U.S. Department of Commerce, you hit many of the key market segments. You talked about energy, and they talk about green energy, clean tech, aerospace, space. In addition to aerospace, they emphasize design and construction. So thank you for your emphasis and discussion of that. The financial industry, including cryptocurrency, is big, or at least the U.S. Department of Commerce, it is. Disaster management. They didn't list agriculture and food, but you talked a little bit about that. Smart mobility, you mentioned automotive. Smart cities, I didn't hear, but they talked about it. You mentioned environmental. The water industry and chemicals are all key.
Yeah, I think this approach from the American angle, what American companies can, what kind of service and products they can sell to Turkey. In China's case, it is different. In India's case, it is different. In Saudi, Russia case, it's different. But the findings are correct. These are the collaboration areas between America and Turkey.
Okay. And actually, that's a great perspective, because this is probably focused in on U.S. exporters in those industries, and the potential partnership.
Mr. Osman, have you checked out how many industrial zones we have?
Almost 500 different industrial zones we have.
500?
500, yes. Not.
I think your information is not accurate. As far as I know, it's more than 1,000. I am sure. I had some webinars about this. I would like to reckon also Mohammed Ömer from Iraq, our business partner for Iraq. Thank you, Ömer. You don't miss any Global Chambers meeting. You skip turnkey meetings. It didn't went away from my attention. I'm taking notes.
This is Mohammed Omar. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes. Thank you very much.
This is the bad apple we have. He skipped turnkey meetings and he become very loyal to Global Chambers.
No. Thank you very much. It looks like this way, but my schedule has been
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah.
That's why we are collaborating with Global Chambers. Yeah. We have great network in the Middle East, Africa, Central Asia, and Balkan countries. These are the typical hub of Turkey, interland of Turkey. But Global Chambers is completing us in North America, South America, Asia Pacific. So two organization is completing each other. It's a great example of collaboration, Doug. Thank you very much for your leadership, for your modesty. You're a really great person. I learned from you also. You are my mentor.
You're very, very kind. Mohammed, did you have anything either that you wanted to ask or add or just share about what you're doing?
No, our president has done a great job introducing the Turkish market. I also would like to add, we are working to make a bridge between Turkey and Iraq. And we were expecting to have a physical product export, but now luckily we have first company that we have signed to enter the Iraqi market is e-transformation company digitally. When you have because Iraq has digitalized the banking system now is emerging, and so the all the potential in Turkey is possible, and because
Yeah.
of closeness to the Iraqi.
Sorry for interruption, Omar. We have limited time.
No problem.
Nima has a
I'm sorry.
question.
Yeah.
Doug, you can note Omar for business opportunities in Iraq. He is a great expert about Iraq. He can do similar webinar about Iraq.
Fantastic. Mohammed, let's circle back
Okay. Yeah.
somehow, some way. We're probably at least connected in WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Thank you. I look forward to that.
Thank you. Thank you again for all.
Yeah,
Nima,
thank you.
question.
Nima Maleli is a Global Chamber Executive Director in Tanzania, and on July 9th, she'll be hosting the President of Tanzania at a Global Chamber event that we're collaborating with Nima on. Thank you for your leadership. July 9, 10, 11, that will also include the President of Zanzibar. Nima, did you have a question, please?
Yes, when I was listening to, thank you very much, Doug and Rashid. When I was listening to the presentation, I didn't hear a lot about the entertainment industry, and I see a lot of acting films shown in Tanzania or in Africa from Turkey.
Yes.
So I'm very interested. We are very interested in that area, and I know Rashid, you're coming to Tanzania in July. So I think we need to see more collaboration with African countries in that end. Thank you.
Nima, you touched a very great point. We have, it is called under service industry. We have like 100 billion export. That includes tourism, software, logistic services, banking services, service export is like 100 billion. Like you mentioned, Turkey is very famous, not as much as Hollywood and Bollywood, but number two popular culture. I think number two is Korean. When you look in how many countries Turkish serials and movies are followed, Turkey ranks number one. Thank you very much for mentioning this. It's cultural export. It all starts with movies, and then it becomes tourism, and it turns into trade, real business. This I heard in Latin America case, Doug. As soon as Turkish serials played in Latin America, we used to watch Brazilian series when I was kid, Brazilian, and we had Dallas from America. There was only one channel back then. Now, after Turkish serials are shown on TV in Latin America, tourism and trade tripled. That's amazing. So this is another side benefit.
Amazing.
Any other questions? Can I reckon Dare from Nigeria? If you need somebody from Nigeria, Dare, can you please speak up, Dare?
And I know Dare, you and I are in.
Hey, hello.
Yeah,
I can hear you. Sorry.
we only have. Could you just introduce yourself in about 30 seconds, please?
Okay, my name is Dari. I'm a business developer. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm here to support anybody looking at doing business in the Nigerian market. Thank you.
So we need to get you connected to Titi of Global Chamber Nigeria. She's changing the business environment in Nigeria. She's a mover and a shaker, and the plan she has to expand Global Chamber and trade there is extraordinary. So I think you and I are connected already. So I'll work on getting you connected to Titi. We do need to wrap up.
Thank you very much, Doug.
We normally. For better or for worse,
them connected.
Okay, thank you. For better or for worse, Global Chamber, we try to get each Globinars to stay within 60 minutes. So I apologize for going over a little bit here, my bad management. But hopefully, and I think you can all tell that there's so much information here. it's like explaining nature in 1 hour. It's nearly impossible. There's so many aspects and so many good possibilities here. So that's why we had this part 2, and we're very happy to add part 3, Rashid, because of there's so much opportunity here. Could you just take another minute and just wrap
I
up?
would like to reckon 2 people from my network. One is Osman Ajian, People and Engineering, mechanical engineer from Turkey. He does anything related mechanical engineering. He has completed projects in Europe, in Middle East, Africa. Anything mechanical, he's ready to help. Also, we have Mr. Bayram Bozkurt from our network. Mr. Bayram is, can you speak up, Bayram? He owns a language school, teaches Turkish for foreigners. Maybe those who are planning to do business with Turkey, travel to Turkey, can take A1, A2 classes. Bayram, speak up, please.
Hi, Mr. Rashid. Hi, Mr. Dog. My name is Bayram Bozkurt. As Mr. Rashid said, I have a Turkish language school in Istanbul. We are teaching Turkish. We have 10 levels. And if anyone wants to come to Turkey for work, for business, or anything else, we can send invitation letter. They can come here. They can learn Turkish. And another thing, if anyone wants to learn Turkish online, we can organize private lessons or private groups like that. Thank you so much, Mr. Rashid.
Welcome.
Thank you, Bayram.
Sorry for exceeding your time limit. Over to you. Thanks for the opportunity again.
Thank you so much for this great opportunity. So many different opportunities to really think about. We really appreciate you, Rashid. Thank you all for participating. If you're watching this on video and you're having trouble connecting into any of the people that you've seen in this conversation, please let us know at info@globalchamber.org. You can contact me at doug@globalchamber.org, DOUG at, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. We do have another event coming up in an hour that's around speaking, public speaking. And so we encourage you to attend. That's Deborah Shames, who is a world-class expert on speaking and writing. I've learned a lot from her, and particularly how not to write and how bad my writing is, but she's helped me get a lot better. So I appreciate it.
Doug, do you have any book published?
Not yet. We're working on a book. The first book is coming out hopefully soon. How about you?
Can I suggest a name?
What's that?
Super Connector.
You're very kind. You're the super connector. So you humble me because of your talent. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you, Rashid.
One more question. Do you air these recordings on YouTube channel? Your YouTube channel?
Yes.
Okay, people who miss this live event, they can follow from your YouTube channel.
That's correct.
I will get the link and post in my network. Thank you very much. Here is evening.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a nice day.
Thank you,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.